was another debrief type thing, you know? Because we go to her house every once in a while, and after like every big thing, so like after this IPN thing, we pulled up over there, and I told him, I'm like, yo, you want to work on, because we've had this idea since like 2019 or 2020 ish, something like that, and he's wanted to do it since then. He originally came up with the idea, and we went through notes together, but we never ended up doing anything with it. And I'm like, bro, you want to do it now? Like, let's do it. Now's the time. Like, gather up all the notes and everything. I sent him the shared note that we had, and I'm like, go through it. Let's see, let's do it. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do it right now. There's like other things I have to do instead. In the meantime, too many things I'm working on, which is like all like real estate stuff. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. It just seems like there's a crazy opportunity right now. It's what it feels like. I feel like everyone should just get together, get on this, and just create. But yeah, he said he has too many things to do before he gets to that, which to me, I don't even know what that really. I don't know how to interpret that, but because it doesn't ever get easier to chase your dreams, you know. I know, dude. It's the expectations. Yeah, yeah. Mostly. Oh, really? Yeah. It's been a while since he's tried to work on that idea. The thing is, even in real estate, so he told me, he's like, all right, let's work on this project. I'm not going to say what it is because he said, okay, don't tell anyone what this project is. So, but I hate doing business like that. I hate that because you're rewiring your incentive structure. Like, you are in the business of real estate, you make more money the more selfish you are. It's just how it is. And okay, to a certain extent, there needs to be a balance where you have to be like selfishness exists in us naturally for a reason. But going down that path, especially when the expectations of like, oh, be afraid of being broke or whatever, are misplaced expectations. They're misplaced familial expectations because everybody else in the family who does real estate, this is all they know. So they don't know anything else. They don't know anything outside of that. This is literally all they do. They don't have anything else to do with their time. And it's a infinite skill ceiling game. So it's like they get super good at it and then they lose the capacity to do all these other things. Like even Ishan, like a couple months ago, we went out with like one of our uncles to some like Indian restaurant, and even he was telling me, he's telling me like, dude, don't like just focus on real estate. Don't do all this other stuff. Like, and he said in that thing, he's like, I'm not even thinking about any of my dreams or anything like that right now. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to continue down that path. I don't want to do that. And like the expectations that the family has, like you see it in how old people are in the family. The older they are, the more time they spent in India, the more like concerned they are about it. Like my nannies, my daddies, and all them, they're like, dude, they cannot see me go 1 hour without eating food, and they just fatten everyone up because they're like, dude, we have to, because they grew up in the environment where it's like, if you got your hands on it, then you better eat it, you know. So and this way of like conditioning your brain to your environment, like real estate is a crazy, crazy deep way of completely, like I know people say like, oh, drugs and alcohol and these things will like change your mind and change the way you think and change your soul and all this stuff. Dude, a job will change you more than any drug ever. A job will rewire your entire identity and your entire being. Like, and you know, there's like good jobs and bad jobs, that kind of thing. But like real estate, you are incentivized to be selfish. You're incentivized to work alone, to get ahead of everybody else. You're developing that skill. So it's like we're human beings. Like let's be humble a little bit for a second and realize like we're human. We're capable of turning into monsters. We're capable of corrupting our soul. We're capable of selling our souls. We're capable of corrupting our incentives and doing terrible things. Like, let's not act like we're totally above, you know, all like the disconnecting from family and becoming antisocial and all this stuff. Like anyone is susceptible to this stuff. Anyone can fall into these traps. They're very easy to fall into. So if you for like 10, 20, 40 years, all you practice for 10, 12 hours a day, you go barely spend time with your kids, which is what like both of our parents, my parents and Ishan's parents have done, where they just go spend time, yeah, making money in the beginning, like you know, providing for the family, but reaching the point where it's like 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, $50,000 every month coming in. At what point is it like, okay, you know what? Now let's start prioritizing real, like actually getting rich rather than just um chasing the same dopamine loop of making deals in real estate. Because honestly, like when you really look at it with a higher level of consciousness, real wealth is time. Like that's what it is. The people, like everything that money buys is time. Every single, like when you build something in Minecraft, you can build an automated farm to save you time. You build better tools, you buy better equipment, you buy better computers and camera gear and all this stuff so you could save time. Everything that money is spent on, even if it's like, oh, I'm going to buy a machine from somebody else, you, machines don't care about your money. People care about your money. You are trading money with other people to save your own time. You're just trading time at the end of the day. And to sacrifice time to not show up to family gatherings and like, dude, the past like 5 family gatherings, neither my dad nor my brother has shown up to them because, oh, I have a real estate meeting I have to attend. Really? Even after having millions of dollars in the portfolio, you can't make time now? Like, they're not developing wealth. They're becoming slaves to this cycle. Because when the only skill you develop, when the only game you play is I win if I'm more selfish, like you really have to put in a lot of effort to counteract that if you're going to develop a non-transactional relationship with your loved ones. Like that's not a thing you can just coast on. It's not a thing you could just like oh, we're just family, so it'll just happen. We'll just love each other. Like family disconnects. They break apart. Yeah, they break apart. It happens. Like if people could just coast, then like everybody would just already love each other already off rip anyways, because we're all one massive extended family. We live like this because we did break apart. So like the skill that is practiced in real estate and a lot of other of these like leech type businesses is to win the game, you have to be selfish. And there is no fun in the game without winning. We're not playing a fun game. There's no fun in real estate unless you're winning. So there's no like there's everything becomes a transactional relationship. You spend all of your dopamine building circuits in your brain to treat everything like a transaction, to treat everything like a ROI. So what ROI are you going to get out of like, you know, like providing for a girl or something like that, you know? Like there's no ROI in that. There so and then they disconnect. They disconnect. And I'm like that's a it's like a plague that I've seen across my entire family, and I see the same thing where Ishan or my brother or my dad or anybody else will will basically sabotage the long-term better gains of the entire group so that they can go, oh no, but we have to create this account and only log them in on their computer and don't give them the actual password. And we have to set up two-factor authentication on our device so that way they can only log in if we log them in, so that way we can lock them into this thing and gatekeep this thing. And like everybody's doing this. Everybody is like going against their own family and saying, oh, I have this project. I'm going to share it with this family member and this family member, but not with this family member and not with this family member. Even if those family members are like closer, like it doesn't even like it's like if you were to get these people to be honest, which there's been times where they've been forced to be honest, they literally say like, yeah, this stuff like it destroys families. It destroys families. But they still do it. And I wanna kind of like break out of this stuff a little bit. That's yeah. 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 This I was hoping for like dude, I did three separate debriefs from the IPN event, and none of them were like real debriefs because the one that we went to at Massage, like, uh, it was like super loud, and we were like drinking and entering altered states of consciousness, which you can't do for that. It doesn't. It defeats the purpose. There's a time and place for it. There's a time and place for the altered states of consciousness. Yeah, yeah. I know, but I feel like we could have started something if we didn't go there for the intention of continuing, because it's like a those kinds of mhm. Yeah, yeah.
IPN at some point turned into not to me. To me, I felt like it was a super successful trip, both personally and professionally, and just like for fun. But for some people, it just turned into like trying to meet hoes too, and they like everything else was just forgotten. So I think it was a combination of all those things.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know if you feel that way too.
Yeah. It's it's exactly the same. I did.
Did you have any? Were the other debriefs that you had like good?
The thing is like okay, with CSM, I it's like I said when we were at Massage, when you get everyone together, the energy becomes
Sure,
uncontrollable.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. There's no way
I
to
disagree with that at all.
act like individuals. Everyone starts building off of each other and getting super hyped about everything, which is like really cool. It's really cool. It's I also think there's a time and place to turn it off. And I just don't
Yeah, I
find
get that.
that.
I get
I don't
that.
it's not that I need to
Yeah,
find that in
definitely.
CSM. But I don't really like when I think about it, I don't find that like anywhere. Like we did the debrief at my cousin's house, and it's like there wasn't I mean, we planned it to be, oh, let's recap. Like that's what she said. She's like, oh, come back and let's recap the thing. Maybe it would have been a little better if Faraz was there as well, because Faraz always loves to tell stories about this kind of stuff, whatever he does, you know. But
Sure. Yeah.
it literally, we showed up and we're just like watching football and playing cards the whole time.
Yeah. No, that's totally different. Yeah.
And and the thing is like, I'm viewing this. I know it might sound like I'm taking this like way too seriously, but I see this as a very essential piece of like human interaction that is needed to maintain a spiritual balance. And it's hard to find it like honestly anywhere. Like even in like about a month ago, I just as a test, just as an experiment, I went to morning kane every day for like a week, and maybe a week is probably not long enough, but I think a week I got what I needed to out of it, which is like it's there's this attitude
I know
of,
exactly where you're gonna go. Yeah. Continue.
well, okay, I went there thinking like they're doing this in the wrong order. So bandagi is extremely useful. It's hyper useful. It works. It's there for a reason. Every culture has
That's
developed
good.
some kind of form of like mindful, like alone sensory deprivation to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every culture has developed that because it works.
Yeah.
Because you need a balance. And then okay, so after bandagi, they immediately jump to prayers, and they pray, and that, so there's bandagi, which is you take control of your own mind. It's you flexing the
Yeah.
muscles to not let your mind wander. And then immediately after that, it's okay, let your mind move and be controlled by whatever's said over the mic, which has its
Yeah.
time and place. There's a time and place to submit, you know? Like Islam is submission. And there's a time and place to submit and allow whatever source of guidance that you trust to move your mind with
Mm-hmm.
music, with ginans, whatever it might be, with the prayer and all that stuff. There's a time and place for that. And but I'm like, okay, we do that, and then we're no longer in the mindset of creation. Now we're in the mindset of consumption. And then everybody gets up and talks and decides to be social. But I'm like, man, there's actually such a brilliant opportunity here to have, if they swap the order around and they have bandagi and then being social, you have peak mindful social interaction. And I'm envisioning, like, dude, actually, genuinely, maybe I'm totally wrong because this is not real, it's just imaginary. But in my imagination, bro, society could be so much better if there's just moments, even like once a month or once a year, where there's just like a pocket of time for like an hour where people get to be social in that peak mindful state that they're in, you know? But you lose so much of that mindfulness from that prayer. So I'm like, some of my family members, my uncles or whatever, were telling me like, oh, go to morning kind of see how it is and tell me how it is. I'm telling them that stuff, and they're telling me, no, this is how it's supposed to be, because the value that I'm seeing in being social, which is getting guidance from other people and sharing knowledge and things like that, and like sharpening each other and all that stuff, that is being achieved by Ismailis, not through being social, but by prayer. So he's like, the point of it, it's being achieved exactly how I'm trying to, like, how I'd want it to be achieved, because the value I see in being social is the value that they're getting from prayer. So because I don't see the value in prayer in that way, I'm not getting that value, but they are. And actually switching it around where they are mindfully social would be like flipping it for me, where they would see it as inefficient because they're not able to get their prayer in their most mindful moments, which
Yeah.
makes sense to
Yeah.
me. And I still stand by the fact that I think it's way more valuable to prioritize the social interaction than it is to pray like that, especially if
Yeah.
you're going to have one of them be at like your peak, consciousness state. But
Yeah.
but this to me, doesn't feel like a smiley thing or whatever. This feels uh like there seems to be a culture wide, like a worldwide, humanity wide attitude of like everyone is trying to get high with everyone else and then be mindful when they're alone. And like, because I'm telling Ishan, I'm like, dude, this is your dream. Now is the time to chase your dreams. And he's giving this vibe of like, oh, this is not the time or place to talk about this kind of stuff. You know? And I'm like, and I'm
That's just
thinking,
Ishan though. That's how Ishan is, bro.
yeah, and I'm thinking like, what is the time then? Like, what is the time and place? Like when you're alone and when nobody else can hold you accountable? Because like it's way easier to do the things you need to do when you're with other people holding you
Surrounded by
accountable.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like doing things when you're alone. It's so easy to degenerate so fast. It's so easy to
Yeah,
doom
yeah,
scroll and
yeah,
all this stuff.
yeah.
Like, why are we creating this imbalance where there's a hard thing in life and an easy thing in life? The easy thing is chasing the high. The hard thing is embracing the low. Why are we saying I'm gonna do the hard thing when I'm in the state where it is harder for me to do hard things, and then I'm gonna do
I
the
do
easy
think
thing?
that as a society, though, we are shifting slowly a little bit more away from that. Like, I feel like, at least this is like a very narrow minded perspective, but like, past 5, 10, 15 years, like, grind culture obviously has like skyrocketed, you know? Like, that's been like that mentality. Like, lock yourself in a room and just fucking grind it out
Yeah,
and work. It's like slave away, make your millions, and then like live life, and like that's the time or place to enjoy, you know? And now, to me it seems like, especially with all this vibe coding and all this shit, it's like it seems like society's starting to regain like the value of community almost, you know, like
yeah,
making
yeah,
shit
yeah. You see the
mutual.
tide
And like that's why
turning?
vibe coding is more just about like taking advantage of your emotion and your psychological state, and like letting, if your psychological state's in a good place, and like anything's possible. And it seems like people are now gearing towards like taking advantage of that instead of just being so like black and white, like gotta work 8 hours, achieve these tasks. It's more about like do what's in your, what feels right, you know, and then let the results follow. And it seems like that's what things are trajecting to.
Yeah, the tide is
And
turning.
to
I
address
see the
your,
tide
yeah, the
turning.
tide is turning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then to address your earlier point, not that I disagree, I'm just like devil's advocate too, because I do agree with you that like the way you said about like the structure of one economy, the way I would imagine that those people perceive it differently is that I would think, this is not how I feel, but this is what I would think, is that to them the bandagi, like to me too, I've gone to morning Kane a couple times over the past like year or two. For like 5 years I didn't go to Kane at all ever. And then the past like 2 years, I've gone a couple times here and there, not because of religion at all, but just because of the environment. You know, I appreciate the environment. And when I go, like I go, and as soon as Kanye is over, like the second is done, I get up and I get out and I leave. I don't like to socialize at Kanye. You know, that's because
Mm.
at Kanye socializing is more so, it's like all superficial shit. You know, at least the conversations I see from other people, it's not anything of substance. It's, people just go there to socialize. Like all my friends, when they go to Kanye, they go when Kane's done. They arrive at Kanye once Kanye is complete. You know, I do the opposite. I leave once Kanye is completed. And to go back to what I was saying at first, is the way I think these old people would perceive it is, to them the bandagi, like to me the bandagi is the main attraction when I go to Kanye. That's the main where I get all my fulfillment, you know, and then the prayer is just like something I go through and it's nice, and I can appreciate it because now at this point my mind is already slowed down. I'm already very calm, and I can just let my mind wander during the prayers because the words don't mean anything to me. But the old people, I would imagine to them, the bandagi is more so like comparing it to a gym analogy. The the bandagi is like the warm up, the stretch, you know, just prepping the mind and the body. Because to them, in the prayer, they like the way my dad has explained this to me. Like I had this conversation many years ago, so I'm probably gonna be miss saying what he said. But I was like, during dua, like I don't feel like I'm gaining anything. I'm just hearing these words and it's in one ear and out the other. You know, it means nothing to me. Like I told him many years ago, I was like, I don't say dua. Like I'll pray in my own way in English, and I'll have a conversation with God about the things that are relevant in my life. But he's like, to him, I was like, why would I repeat these same words every day? You know, just to say the same words every day and expect growth doesn't make any sense to me. Like, as you grow, things need to change. And his response was that during dua, and for, I think it applies to a lot of people of his like culture and whatever, people that have been praying for so long. He's like, when I'm hearing the dua, he's like, I'm not hearing these words. and just thinking about like these words as they are, you know? He's like, when I hear the dua and I'm in Kane, like I'm in a total, because I've heard it a million times, I've recited it a million times, I've internalized it a million times. He's like, to me, that's when I'm in my total flow state. So like how you were describing bandagi, you know, that's when your mind's calm and you can wander and you go into consumption mode. So to people like you and me, where the dua doesn't mean much, that's when we're going into consumption mode because we hear these words and it's like it's not doing anything for me. You're just taking it in and it's not you're not achieving anything. But for these people that have been doing it for so long, they hear these words and to them it's just putting them in this flow state. It's like hearing like the lo-fi beats or like the thing they're
Yeah,
making,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And then that's when they're in their mind, they're not perceiving it as they're going into conception mode. That's when like they're doing the bandigi to warm up, and then the dua is like the heavy lifting. That's when their mind's really starting to wander and they're thinking about their sins and they're thinking about what they could do better and all this and that. I mean, that's just wishful thinking, idealistic thinking, but I would like to think that that's their structure behind that, you know.
Yeah, I think so. It seems
But
to be.
yeah, and then I would also say that yeah, 100%. And I think this even goes back to the debriefing point because that's kind of how we segued into this. Is that is a fundamental like necessity to have that alone time and that mindfulness time, and I think that's even why some of these debriefs, some of them might not be all that great, bro. Because a lot of people, most people, they don't take the time to like process their thoughts. Like with me, I don't do bandagi or anything. I like to meditate sometimes. I like to journal a lot. Like journaling for me gives me the time to take out my thoughts. Like when I came back from IPM, I took a day or a couple of hours and I had like a debrief with myself. You know, I just wrote about the 3 days, what happened over 3 days, what I took away from 3 days, and then that helped me process my thoughts about. That helped me talk about what I debriefed with you about what I liked from it. You know, and a lot of people don't like. They just went to IPN, they came back, and then the wheels were already rolling. They were back. It was Sunday. They came back, and Monday it was back to work, and then IPN was done. But if you take the time to do bandagi or to meditate or to journal, then you can internalize all that shit from IPM, and then you can debrief that shit because then you have formulated some type of opinion on it, and then you've also like internalized it and turned it into action. You know, and that's what a lot of people don't do, and that's why maybe the debriefs aren't as efficient as some would like. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I get what you mean. I mean, whatever
that's
works for
even
people.
why. That's even why I wanted. Yeah, whatever works. Yeah, I mean to each their own. That's even why I wanted Furlong to be there at the debrief because he's also that type of guy too. Like he'll say the stories about what went down, you know, shit like that. He'll fucking process the information, whereas a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, to me, it just feels like there's a core part of like I'm not gonna try to go and like say like, oh, they should change how morning Jamaat's gonna structured or whatever. Like whatever value there is to get out of these things is the value to get out of these things. But to me, it feels like people across like the entire like culture of humanity are missing out on a core part of being social. Like it feels like there's a part of being so like not just being mindful because you can meditate alone and be mindful, but it feels like
Sure.
there is a state of social interaction that is just like a dying art. It feels like where the priority is like when I'm with others, let's party. When I'm
Yeah.
alone, oh, that's when I'll do the right thing. That's when I'll do what I have to
Yeah.
do. When I'm alone, guys, bro, when I'm alone, then I'll do it. I won't procrastinate at all. Trust me, bro, no scam at all. When I'm alone, I'll handle
Yeah.
it. But when I'm with you guys, yeah, let's all party. Like,
Yeah.
bro, there's no way this is like there's
Yeah.
something missing here.
I also have thought about that a lot too. My thought with that is it goes back to the meditation and the journaling or whatever. Because what that is when you're doing those are putting your mind in an uncomfortable place, right? And it's a muscle. So if you're not training that muscle, then when you're with people, I really realized this actually when I was living with people and I saw the way they lived outside of when they're social. You know, like when I'm coming back, I take time to be like quiet and to not be stimulated. But a lot of people, when I live with people, I realize that even when they come home, they're staying stimulated all the time. So being out with friends to them is just a form of stimulation, and the reason they'll talk about fun and not anything of substance is because that's like a form of discomfort or a form of work to them.
Yeah,
And when
I
they're
know
with
exactly.
friends, they want to release, you know. But the key is finding like a balance where you can have those conversations and they don't feel uncomfortable and they just feel natural, just like no different than having fun, with a regular
Exactly.
conversation.
Next time we do
But to a lot
this,
of people, they feel like they need a release. That's why it even goes back to like you're saying about like taking substances. Like that's why people want to drink every time you link up. It's all tied together.
yeah, next time we do this, it has to be fun. It can't just be, okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
prioritize
it doesn't
this
have to be
thing.
like a goddamn like a work meeting.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to have it be like a work meeting. Next time we do something like this, I literally just want it to be like we used to just take Shelby, like my dog, for a walk. I want it to be like, just throwing a football around, or just going outside, just like, going to some new restaurant, trying out some new thing or whatever, or even just like
Yeah,
pulling up, talking, playing like a video game in the background, leaving some music on in the background, just
yeah,
like passing out or whatever. Like it can screw it, we can even drink. It doesn't matter. But like
yeah,
I want it to just be a little bit more oriented to the goal of like, all right, let's let's actually have a bit of a priority in our mind of like, okay, we had fun in the moment right now. How can we do better tomorrow? I just want to
yeah. Have
just
some
have that
goals at the
conversation
same
with
time.
people at night, like
Yeah,
a lot of nights.
yeah.
That's all it is.
I'm big on that. Like I know CSM is like everyone has their role in CSM, and CSM is like a huge clown committee. Obviously, me as a individual, I've always found myself more on like the I can clown, but I generally find myself having more of like those intimate conversations, and that's generally how I carry myself.
Yeah, but this thing
But there is always
is,
a time for growth, of course.
yeah, dude. Just a little while ago, my cousins came back from India, and I'm like, hey, let me come through, and they're like, nah, dude, I'm exhausted and all that stuff, and I'm thinking like okay, nobody does this in this way, so people are not thinking outside the box in this way. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, you don't have to entertain me. You don't have to.
Yeah,
I'm not coming there to be a chore. Like I can
yeah,
help you unpack. I can get stuff done. Like I can bring you food and drive you around and things like that. Like that's why I want to come through, is
yeah,
to make it less exhausting for you. And it's
yeah. To be
crazy
like
how like
refreshing rather than draining.
most people are so conditioned to like not this is in my mind when I think about the problem, this is the root of the problem right here. It's people are conditioned by whatever systems are in place or whatever. They're conditioned to not keep other people around them when they're low energy, because their only existence around being other people, or around being around other people, is energy draining, is trying to entertain
Yeah,
them and
because that's
trying to,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. People trying to entertain. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
trying to like, put on a facade or whatever, and like trying to be inauthentic and like, or get something out of them, expand your business or whatever. Use these people to like, understand how their mind is working and try to use psychological tactics to get them to sell them on something or whatever. I'm like, of course these things are going to be exhausting, like, but I'm trying to develop some relationships that don't rely on that kind of thing. But yeah, that's
yeah. I feel that.
all right. Back to vibe coding.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I definitely need to start with dev mode is what the thing was called in Figma, where it takes your screenshots and turns them into to coding. Dev code. I think I gotta go take a shit and stuff. I'm probably
All
gonna do
right.
that. Maybe try and do like an hour or two, watch a video, play a little bit of foundation,
Cool, cool,
learn
cool.
some code, and then I'll probably hop back on later today in the afternoon.
All right. I'll see you.
Cool. I'll text you. All right.
I have these Bose NC 700s. Look at the cups on them, bro. They're like super. And these, the rips on the inside. I can kind of like pull it back over a little bit and make it stay like a little bit. It just goes back. Memory foam, it feels way nicer than these ones, the replacement ones from Wicked Cushions, but we'll see. These also look cooler, and that counts for something.
$20.25.
NC700. Cool.
Hey everyone, this is Or from Wicked Cushions, and today I'm going to show you how to replace the ear pads on your Boat 700 noise cancelling headphones. To replace your ear pads, all you are going to need is a butter knife, get something that is not sharp, and a pair of ear pads. By the way, if you do need ear pads, stay to the end of this video to replace the ear pads.
Be right back.
Okay, so let's start. The first step is going to be removing the old ear pads. The way you're going to remove it is you're going to grab the butter knife. Again, as I said, use something non-sharp, and you want to be gentle with it. You're just going to place it in between the gap that is in between the ear pad and the plastic. So you're going to do this from several angles, and then you're just going to slowly pop it up. You see how you hear those clicking sounds? I'll show you why you have those clicking sounds once the ear pad is out.
Okay. I never taken apart like ear cups or anything on headphones. I did take apart old Apple earbuds once. These ones, if the camera will focus. You know, these old ones, but not with the... This one has a lightning port at the end. I took apart the old ones. Same like head, but with an aux jack. Why are my lights not on? I just popped the other one back in. Cool. Cool. So that one's out.
Alright, so the reason you have these clicking sounds is because the way that the ear pad is attached is that the ear pad itself on the back side has a bunch of hooks. It has 8 hooks.
I just did it in the wrong place and tore off some of the paint off this plastic. Too hasty. All right, cool. That's what it looks like. These are really thin. The aesthetic of these headphones is so cool.
6 hooks, I'm sorry. And the hooks go inside the slots that are positioned on the headphone ear cup. Now let's remove the other one. And the reason you want to be gentle with it is because once you remove them, you don't want the hooks to break, because if one hook from the ear pad is missing, you won't ever be able to put it on again. Okay, so the next step is optional. You have the screen mats. Now you might not want to replace them yet, but if you do, you're simply going to grab them and pull them out. They're attached with adhesive. After you remove them, pull them out. They're attached with adhesive.
Hell yeah, I want to pull them out. These are so like super dusty, bro.
After you remove them, you want to remove the leftover adhesive that was holding them in place.
Oh, really?
Simply scrape it off.
Bro, that's so annoying.
Now,
Oh, that
something
sucks.
right here.
I already did it, so. This is not necessary, right? This is gonna the adhesive. If the adhesive is this sticky and it's hard to remove, sticking another adhesive onto this adhesive is not gonna. I already committed. Bro, he just peeled them off so easily in the video. There's gotta be some solution I can like dip my finger into to make it. Dude, how am I supposed to get this one off? Am I supposed to take this one at the bottom off? Does he remove that one?
Before you remove the leftover adhesive, you gotta remember that these two parts right here, you are not supposed to remove. This is not the parts that are from the adhesive. This is a covering that covers the wire for the speaker. So you don't want to touch this one. You only want to touch these ones around. But you don't want to touch that one. You'll see it that it goes from the silver metal
I should just watch the whole video.
bottom. It's at the bottom of it. So you don't want to touch that one. Now removing the adhesive is going to be the longest process of this entire video. So that is the hardest part. But after this, it's all easy. Now after you remove all the adhesive, you want to take the new screws and attach them. Now if by any chance you removed all of them and you forgot which side is which, just remember that the right side is the side with the power button right here.
This one's gonna be annoying to remove.
So I'm going to take the right side and I'm going to position it like that. All right. Just want to take off the adhesives. So I take off the adhesive layers and I'm going to position it like that.
Should I take off all of them at once like he did, or? I'm always really bad at this. But maybe that's imposter syndrome when I think about it, because I'm always really good at this, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to like get this kind of stuff perfect. Like I've been known to be really good at this stuff.
Nice and set.
Cool. So there's no adhesive on this, like, on this right side here. I guess it's not needed, but, and it would be getting in the way of this little metal thing. It's unsatisfying. Look at the difference in dust between these two. I don't know if you could even see it on the camera. Look, here's the old one. Cool. Sounds great. Now I gotta do this part again. So there was adhesive on this side on the original, but they just didn't include it on these Wicked Cups ones, which makes sense. It's not needed, and it would just, people would probably mess it up, to be honest. Look at that, dude. Bro, I can really put on my resume, I will learn on the job better than anybody else, and I'd be right. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for, oh, do I already know this thing? Didn't even follow the instructions. Did it better than the instructions told me to. Except this last one. I don't know if I can get this one properly. This one's gonna be tough. Psych, I'm the best. Okay, but this last one's actually, I already messed this one up. The first two adhesives I removed were flawless. It just got worse and worse. Bro, look at how clean this is. Right here. Cool. it's not perfect. I really gotta stop trying to be perfect.
And we'll move to the left one and position that one inside.
These are interchangeable, right?
And that's it. Now let's move on to installing the new ear pads. I'm going to grab our speed racer design. So as I said, 6 hooks all around. You want to position them
They're
with
symmetrical.
the 6 slots inside. I'm just going to start with the top 2. Alright, once that is done, move the other side.
I shouldn't have started with the top. Oh, you can really... Okay, that's why these are not as soft as those, because you can really press these in. Oh yeah, you can start with the top, it's no problem. Just gotta give it a bit of force. It's probably better to start with the top. As is in most things.
And that is it. We've successfully replaced your Bose 700 ear pads. I know that I promised to tell you where you can grab some fake notes or into the help. Contact us with the email information that we have.
This is all trash. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to set a voice meter. Alright, so here's my plan. I haven't used these in a while. This is the on button. Is this... It's been a long time since I used these. I want these to be wireless to these because I already have wired headphones, which I'm going to use most of the time. I have voice meter set up. Everything is like perfectly synced down to the millisecond. This is not going to be synced. But if I'm just listening to music, just listening to stuff in the background, watching videos, whatever, and I want to be moving around, I don't want to have a cord connected to me. That's what this is for. I could do the whole sync. No, I'm not going to do that. There's no way I could do that because I'd have to have a delay on the video to match it up with this, sync it up with the Bluetooth connection because there's going to be a delay on the Bluetooth. I'm not putting a delay on my video. It's going to mess with my gaming. No. In gaming, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be using those headphones. This is just for listening to music, not even reacting to it. It's just for going around, doing pull-ups and stuff. Oh, they hug tight. They are not as soft as these. These are way softer, the originals. But these are, they're quieter. They reduce the outside noise a lot. Let's see. That's not it. On button is the top one. Cool. That is not it. Using voice meter is such a pain, dude. Yo, remove this. All right, let me play some audio. Oh, I'm supposed to be going through this. Come on, banana. What is this? Okay. Did it even pair properly? What the? Okay. That's nice. How when you take it off, it doesn't stop. That's perfect for this, or my use case. Wait, did I change the default sound setting accidentally? I think I did. I think that's why I was only working through that and why it's not going through. Okay. Right. Makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. What is my what's my default sound device? I could just go to that and see which one it was. It changed my default device to. Aux input cannot be it, right? It probably is. It's this or the other. this just work? Bro, voice meter's so good, bro. Oh my god. And let's go with 3. Audio here. Audio to my Elgato. Oh man, I was so excited to get this to work. What the hell's going on here? Why is it not working? And what is this? What if I do a 3 as... Oh, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. Right, that's nice. There's 2 virtual inputs, but I think that only needs to go to this one. Okay, back to Meze. Voice meter is the GOAT, dude. And thank you, Claude. Anthropic Claude, that is. I'm not talking about some dude named Claude. I wonder if there was some dude named Claude they named after. Oh, and I don't need to set up any voice meter like audio adjustment for this to do with the, because I have this. Awesome, awesome, everything. Wow, perfect. Better than perfect, better than I could have expected it to be. Great.
Can I get 2 crowns? Awesome. Thank you.
Glad I got that set up. This is so cool. Okay, what happens if I disconnect it? Nothing. Cool. It's still gonna try to send audio, right? I'm assuming. It's gonna throw an error. It's still sending audio to the source. Cool, so Windows knows the source. So I got everything I need. And if I... That's cool. Not a single error thrown. But I'm not about to stream right now. I'm gonna stream again later.